Well, hello everyone. My name is Dara Rath, and I'm the pastor at Faith Lutheran Church in Port Elgin, Ontario, Canada. And each week I bring you a story that's written by other authors. Some of these stories are funny, and some give you something to think about. And the story today is a funny one, and it's from a book called Too Funny by Amy Newwork. And the story is written by Mary Ellen Angelscribe. And the title of the story is The Airport Expert. My husband, Mr. X, wishes to remain anonymous for this story because it has already cost him enough red faces. This is a man whose father worked as an airplane radio mechanic for one of the biggest airlines in the world. And so on his father days off, my husband spent hours as a child holding his father's hand and happily trotting beside him to explore the insides of airport hangars, work areas, and so forth. Their family was also fortunate to receive company passes to fly worldwide. When our daughter was 7 years old, my husband wanted to show her the thrills of an airport that he experienced as a child. This was in the era prior to security checkpoints and gates, when one could greet arriving passengers, so we had more access to public areas. We drove to Seattle's SeaTac Airport, and he proudly began his father's tour as he relived the joyful memories of walking the corridors with his now deceased father. Mr. X was our tour guide through the airport, explaining how things worked. My daughter was shown different airplanes and the ground equipment from the huge terminal windows and was told fun tidbits not known by the average traveler. Mr. X, our expert, was reveling in the moment when nature called and he ducked into a washroom. My daughter and I walked up and down the long terminal hallway and through several waiting areas waiting for our expert to emerge and continue the tour. But we waited and we waited. We went back to the area where he was last seen. When I looked up the washroom sign, it read, "Women." Uh-oh, there's no way the expert could be in there, could he? With all his expertise on the ins and outs of the airport, with his chest stuck out and strutting like a proud rooster for the last hour, we couldn't believe he would have made such an hilarious mistake. If he had, he would never be able to live it down. Knowing that he would never make that kind of error, I did not venture into the washroom to check for him, and none of the ladies exiting looked concerned. So we stood outside the washroom, waiting and waiting. The reason we stood there is because our family's rule when someone is lost is, wait at the last location you saw the person so you don't waste precious time walking in circles and missing each other. To date, that rule has always worked. It turned out that day, on this day, the rule would also hold true. An hour after his mysterious disappearance, Mr. X rushed out of the ladies' room with his face glowing red with embarrassment. "Why didn't you come in and save me?" he said. He angrily demanded this as they looked self-consciously around to see if anyone had noticed his hasty exit. I had to use the washroom so urgently that I did not see the sign. Once seated, I heard the click of high heels and knew that I was in trouble. I could have been charged with some crazy crime. I had to quietly wait, hoping no one would see my shoes, and when it was finally quiet, I escaped. Our daughter and I could not stop laughing. Yes, it was a precarious situation and a relief that he had not been caught and charged with some crime. My husband is a prude and does everything by the law, and his career includes working with the police department. So the thought of him encountering police under their circumstances makes this even funnier and even funnier. Okay, I did feel a tad sorry for him, but I knew that one day his story would be spread far and wide, just like the travelers and airplanes at the airport. So now you know why he wishes to remain anonymous. Well, all of us can think of times when in a crowd or in a hurry we have gone into the wrong washroom. I have done it several times in my life. One time in particular, I was in the stall, in the women's washroom there's a stall, so I was in the stall. I didn't notice that there was a urinal there, so I came out and I was washing my hands, and this man came in and actually went pee right in front of me. He didn't realize or even think that there was a woman there watching. It was absolutely hilarious. So sometime I'll tell you another really, really funny story where I got toilet paper hanging from my skirt and went in to announce a speaker where I was working he was a guest speaker from Switzerland here to present some wonderful medical information. And I went into the washroom, came into the auditorium to do this presentation and introduce this speaker, and of course there's this piece of toilet paper hanging down from my skirt. It brought all kinds of laughter, and of course the speaker could hardly speak. He was laughing so hard, and every time he looked at me he started to laugh. So I'll just tell you the whole entire story another time. So thanks for taking 5, and blessings on your day.